You don't know who these men are listening to. And sometimes, most times, whoever you are listening to, before you know it, you start behaving like them. Do you know that? Start listening to toxic people. Before you know it, you become toxic. Hello, LinPRinP. It's another episode of Laraddiji's LinPRinP. It's a live section, Living in Fast Express, where I talk about what's going on in the news and how it has affected me. If you're watching for the first time, I'm a Nigerian American lifestyle vlogger who loves living a peaceful life, and I love talking about situations we might find ourselves in that need peaceful endings. Recently, I've seen a trend in the videos about guys, about these 4 men that I'm going to talk about, and I just wanted to enlighten us women out there about these type of men. I've always talked about men on this show a little bit sparingly, but today I'm going to go into a deep dive into men, right? For this world to move on, we definitely need men. That's like basic, right? Just like we need women, we definitely need men in terms of procreation, in terms of relationships, in terms of making things, building things, in terms of, leaders, being leaders. I always talk about how a ship has a captain, right? And the captain has to have an idea of where he wants the ship to go to. I've done a video about relationship. I'll make sure to put the link up right there so you can check that out after watching this video. But I've always talked about the importance of men. Men are definitely important in our society, in our community, to move on in life. But recently I'm realizing that a lot of men are getting it wrong. A lot of men think money first, not realizing that money is important, but sometimes it's not number one. In terms of these 4 guys that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about how they view the world, in terms of their experiences, how their experiences have shaped them into who they have become today. And number one is Kanye West. Yes, we're going into the world today, you guys. Living a peaceful life, to resting in peace, means that you are living a peaceful life. And unfortunately, while you are living a peaceful life, you are encountered, there are things that you are seeing in the world. There are things that you are hearing from what's happening in the world. We are leaves. I feel like we are leaves on a stream, right? Depending on the wind, depending on what's going on in the environment, that's moving our leaf, right? It can move us into still waters, or it can move us into pushy waters. It can move us into fast waters. So it depends on what you're listening to. It depends on what you're focusing on. That's going to determine where your leaf is going to float to. You know what I'm saying? Our leaves are floating in this river of life. We have to be careful who we are listening to. We have to be careful who we are subscribing to. We have to be careful who we are letting their life influence our lives, basically. So in terms of Kanye West, Kanye is someone that has lived somewhat of a rough life, a tough life, I can say, right? And his life, he started with music. I'm not sure if he started with Christian music, growing up, but I know that his life is basically music. And then from music, he went into, being number one in whatever genre or whatever that he puts himself in. And then before you know it, money goes along with fame, and fame comes along, money comes along, and then you are sitting at the table with the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? So he's sitting at the table with big dogs, and I feel like he has forgotten his roots. He's forgotten where he came from. Now, a lot of people he's in a big trouble. He's been in a big trouble in front of the media, which media is a whole another ball game. He's been in trouble for a while now, media-wise, and a lot of people are kind of torn apart now, because back in the days, everybody's like, oh, Kanye has lost it, he's gone crazy. right? And then now it's like, wow, he's actually making sense. Why would people think he's crazy? Because he's actually saying a lot of things that make sense. And when you see things, when you see an individual like this, you're kind of torn. You're like, okay, what do I believe? Believe what the media is telling me, or believe what the person themselves is telling you, right? And then what's the agenda behind his life? So now recently they're like, oh my goodness, we can't find Kanye. Where's Kanye West? He's been missing. You know, what did he do for Christmas? Where is he for New Year? He's not with his family. And I got really scared a little bit. I got scared. I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope what he was saying wasn't as true to the point that maybe some people want to take him out. But that's where media has got us today. The life of Kanye West. So I'm going to put him the corner of this topic. Then next we have Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is another personality that had a rough life. I want to say maybe not a rough life growing up, but I feel like he's the type of person that has been used to a certain kind of praise when he was growing up. You're the best at this, you're the best at that, you're the best at this, you're the best at that. So it feels like whatever he's doing, he's been successful at. So I feel like he's throwing a social temper tantrum where he feels he can do anything and get away with it, basically. So now we have Kanye West on one side, and now, if you know, one time he also felt like he could do certain things and get away with it. And then now we have Andrew Tate on another side where he feels like he can do a certain amount of things and get away with it in a certain kind of place with certain kinds of people, to the point that has landed him in some trouble. So I'll put him on another side. As the Nigerian that I am, I'm definitely going to talk about this Nigerian man. He's a presidential candidate. His name is Tinubu. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Tinubu. He's one of the president. This is so bad that I don't know his. Please don't crucify me in the comments. I can't remember his first name. I mean, that's how irrelevant, unfortunately, that he is in my life. Okay? Okay, so his name is Tinubu, and he's a presidential candidate. There's a lot of issues that's disqualifying him, that's making him be disqualified as a presidential candidate. Unfortunately, that there's still a lot of people supporting him and urging him on, to continue his campaign in the presidential candidacy for Nigerian president. So we have this guy where his age is literally against him. There's a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes that's making him kind of not an effective, not the effective leader that we would want in this year, right? So we put him aside, and basically what I feel like what is pushing him is capital greed. 99.9% greed, I feel, is what is pushing this man along to wanting to be a presidential candidate. So I put him on another corner of the table, a presidential candidate. And lastly is Prince Harry. Prince Harry is another man of the hour that I would say is buzzing in the media. Prince Harry has been through a lot, right? He has been through a lot, and unfortunately, he's still going through a lot. And this is sometimes why I don't watch the news and I just watch my movies. I don't watch the news. This is part of the reason why, but then you feel, you have to know what's going on around the world so that you know when, something is coming close to you. So Prince Harry has been through a lot, definitely from, he's birthed into this situation that he feels he has no control over. And the only time that he had control over the situation that he was placed in was when he got married to Meghan Markle, and he decided, you know what, I think the best thing for my sanity is to take myself out of this equation. And he did. Took himself out of this situation that he feels he can never win in, and he put himself in another corner of my table. So it's in another corner. So we have Kanye West, we have Andrew Tate, presidential candidate, Nigerian presidential candidate Tinubu, and then we have Prince Harry. And you see these guys have very distinct qualities, very distinct qualities of what a leader might look like, a toxic leader might look like. And I just want to use this opportunity to talk to our women out there, because these men have women behind them, right? Prince Harry has Meghan Markle, presidential candidate Tinubu has his wife and kids and grandkids. And then we have Andrew Tate, which he said in one of his interviews that he might be married, but he doesn't want to put his situation in front of the world, which I would say I give him a check mark for that. So he might be married, or most definitely married, but we don't know. There's a woman behind him. And then we have Kanye West, who we all know the woman behind Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, right? There's a lot, and with these men, they have huge number of followings. So I have 6 points here that I'm going to touch on, and then I'm going to be done, right? As a young man out there, please, I've talked about this before. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you allow to push your leaf in your river of life. Because before you know it, you just realize that you are listening to Kanye West, you are listening to Andrew Tate. And I'm not saying they are, 100% bad. There are some qualities that you can take from these people. You can take the business savvy aspect of Kanye West, which I know he's messed up on some of his business issues, but you can take some qualities of these men. You can take the qualities of the presidential candidate, that he doesn't give up. Yes, he doesn't give up. That's a good quality. You can take the positive attributes of Prince Harry, that he was able to take himself out of a negative situation for his own sanity. That's a very good characteristics of that man. And then Andrew Tate, you can say he never backs down. That's a good quality, but you always have to have wisdom to know when to use these qualities of these men. Now, for the women out there, like Pastor K's wife always say, you women are the ones that's going to choose who's going to be your partner in creating the next generation. Be careful who you pick as a man to be a partner with, because they can be your downfall and they can be your uplifter. Okay, so you have to be very careful. You have to pick a man who is, number one, God-fearing. Who in all these men that I've mentioned is God-fearing? Kanye West, Andrew Tate, presidential candidate Tinubu, Prince Harry. Who in all of these men are God-fearing? Are they Christians? Are they followers of Christ? Are they selfless? Are they kind? Are they compassionate? Are they contented with where they are in life? Are they your friends? Can you consider any of these people your friend? Are they the greedy type? Are they the jealous type? Are they the envious type? The average age of women watching my channel are between 18 to 24 to 30. If you are single in this group, please be careful who you are mingling with as men. You don't know who these men are listening to. And most times, whoever you are listening to, before you know it, you start behaving like them. Do you know that? If you start listening to toxic people, before you know it, you become toxic. If you start watching people that are humble, people that are kind, you start watching people that behave well in society, people that are compassionate, are kind. Before you know it, you start behaving like that. You start behaving kind. You start behaving. So you want to be careful who you allow to influence you directly or indirectly, because ultimately they can break you or make you, right? This is my message for young women out there. I'm not saying these men are 100% bad. They have good qualities in them. Make sure you are picking out those good qualities and you are taking out those negative qualities. You're not letting them come to you. And even when you realize that you are behaving in a negative way and you feel like, oh, it's because I'm listening to this person, then dissociate yourself from that person. And there are friends that will come to you like you think they're your friends, but they are actually sheep in wolf's clothing. You have to be careful. You have to use wisdom. You have to let God's wisdom to help in directing you, because sometimes these people will come at you, you think they are right, but ultimately they are leading you to a path of destruction. And how you know if you don't tap into God's wisdom? All right, you guys, this is it from the news, you guys. I hope you have learned something from what I've talked about. All right, pick out the good qualities of people, because human beings will always be human beings. We are not perfect. We are never perfect. And if you're listening to me and you think Lara is perfect, let my husband come and talk to you. Let my kids come and talk to you. I am not perfect, and I don't want anybody to believe that I'm perfect. I am not perfect. I am a human being, and I am infallible. I am fallible, infallible. I am not perfect. So I have my own faults, and I love my faults. I'm learning to better myself every day, and I'm very careful in who I listen to. I'm very careful in when I start hearing, when people start talking and they are not making sense to me, and they are and they want. I mean, social media is such a negative drug nowadays, you know. You have to be careful who you are watching. You have to be careful who you are listening to. You have to be really, 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 really careful. You have to use wisdom. When you hear things, you have to think about them and see how they affect your life. If it's not affecting your life positively, dissociate yourself from them. Please, I'm begging you. I hope this is going to save, even if it's just one person in the future. I hope this is a valuable lesson for you, especially if you are in that stage where you are going to pick someone to be a partner with. Be careful. Please pick someone that is God-fearing, number one. Pick someone that is kind, that is contented with where they are and wants to develop themselves to get to a better place in life. Pick someone that is not greedy, because they'll be greedy with you. Pick someone that is not jealous, because if you are better than them, they might be jealous of you. Pick someone that is your friend, that you can talk to, that you can be open to, and they can be vice versa. Pick someone that can be bold in the right situations and learn to calm down in other situations as well. Pick someone that is compassionate and not just aggressive all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you've learned something today, please. If you have learned something, please let me know in the comment section if this is something that you relate with. And I hope that you remember that at the end of the day, we are on this earth for an average of 75 to 80 years. Let's learn to live and love this life positively, so that at the end of the day, we can rest in peace. Let's love our neighbors as ourselves, and remember to rest in peace. We all need to be living in peace. Stay blessed, you guys. You see me in my next one. You see me in my next one. See me in my next one. You see me in my next one. Bye.